Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of the Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. That's right, I'm Joey Only here, sitting in Wells, British Columbia, 3,953 feet above sea level, and it's lovely today. It's lovely. It's only minus 5.8 right now this afternoon. Nice and warm this morning, warm enough my pipes thawed. Great. We've had a long period of dry. Haven't had much snow in BC now since, well, over a month, really. We had a little bit at the end of January, help. But really, no, we've gone through a long period of dry weather. We've talked about that in the channel here. We talked about how Kamloops had its driest month ever. We talked about all the municipalities and airports that reported in BC on pretty much no snow or underperforming for precipitation in January. It's looking bad. So we got this La Nina going on right now. It's supposed to be when we get the weather piling on, and it's supposed to fade, though, by the spring. That means this weather that's coming, this Pacific weather that's ramping up, we need it to come hard into March. We need it to come hard into April and give us a lot of weather to help make up for the low snowpacks in areas like south of Burns Lake, out to Utsa, and out towards the Nechako Dams, and areas in the Chilcotin that are very, very low on snow, and areas in the Okanagan and Kamloops and areas like that where they have very, very little snow, areas that are already warning signs. Okay, let's talk about it all today on the show. Let's go. There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen. Get on! Wow. I'll watch the video later. They dry mop in this. So let's get specific about it. Some areas okay. Vancouver Island, 82% of its snowpack expectations in this latest update as of the 11th. South Coast sitting at 59%. Not good. They need more snow. They need more snow bad. Lower Fraser at 73%. That's not terrible for them, but the Similkameen and Skagit's only at 20% of its expected snowpack. Similkameen at 87%. That's very, very, very stupidly low. Lower Thompson and Bridge also underperforming. Chilcotin, very, very low. Nechako at 58%. Central Coast at 60%. Not as bad here in the Caribou proper, in the Caribou Mountains. Although, really, we're less. I've seen a lot of years, a lot more snow than this in Wells. Like, it's not like it's not like we're screaming with big snow here, even if we're some of the best in the province. That, okay. Maybe some better news for the Peace and Liard, who at least have some higher snowpack totals. Of course, we know what fire season's been like for them up there for a long time. They've been in that drought problem for a long time. So it'd be really, really positive to see them take even more snow and try to get well above that 108% level there that we have at Liard. The Peace at 83%, pretty good. Upper Fraser West, 92%. Skeen at 67%. Stikeen, though, looking pretty good at 80%. So some of these snowpack totals are okay, but a lot are really, really concerning. A lot are really concerning. The Nechako is a very concerning area. Like I said, the Chilcotin seeming particularly dry there. So those are areas we really want to see in the forecast in the coming weeks, like an abundance of precip. We really require that for you because it's going to be bad if not, and we've had a couple bad fire seasons already out in the Nechako where, last year some of our biggest, longest lasting fires were those ones out in Tweedsmuir Park, which end up getting left out there. But that's symptomatic of the drought situation, how long it's been going on there for. That even when we saw recovery in August in much of the province in our fire conditions, that area did not see much of recovery at all. No. So we had an early start to fire season last year. What we'd like to see this year is a delayed start. We'd like to see the snow come piling on more and more and more and more and more until the point where everyone's just completely buried as we come into April. And then we might have to deal with flood problems. But obviously when you're looking at these numbers, we're not looking at a springtime where we're concerned about big time flood situation like maybe we have had in past years, right? So is this better than last year? Actually, it is. It's better than last year's overall totals in a lot of regards. Yeah. Is it good? No. I think like we're in the 70s overall in BC across the board, 70s percentile, whereas we were in the low 60s percentile, I think, the year before at this time, right? So much better than last year. However, not good enough. And especially not good enough if we have this El Nino pattern that sort of digs in sometime in the near future. Like if we lose our La Nina and go into neutral through this summer, well, how long, with the ocean temperatures being the way they've been, will it be until we find ourselves back into an El Nino? I don't know that question, but to me, that would mean a more prolonged period of dry weather coming in the future for BC if that were to happen, right? So that's what we don't want to see. I mean, it's not so much a prediction right there as a concern about the future. And it's not unfounded concern because like the Vanderhoof district, seeing very, very, very little snow this year, everywhere south of Burns Lake, into that whole area, almost reaching down to Nazco, which itself isn't very good. But you got some higher country here in that West Caribou. I've done a lot of timber cruising out there. I've fought some fires out there, right? Then you have the Highway 26 corridor that goes west out of Williams Lake from here, and you can see as you get into some of those Chilcotin areas, very, very, very dry. If you look around Kamloops, there's areas where, at least on this HRDPS model, it's a Canadian model for snowpack, isn't looking good for Kamloops area. It looks like there's nothing there. That's what it looks like to me, and same with some of these areas down in the Okanagan. Well, okay, well, some of these areas around, though, are still in those light blues, which means that they're not too much better than what we're seeing up here in Vanderhoof, right? Just a little better than we're seeing up there. Obviously not as good as you're seeing in that West Caribou, but the little better than the Chilcotin in some of the higher country. But still, that's a lot of high country, a lot of mountains, a lot of grasslands, a lot of rolling hills where there's like basically dick all for snow on them right now. And all you need is like a week of early warm spring and it's gone. And things can start drying and drying and drying should there not be a rainfall pattern that continues at that point, right? So if we can see the snow show up in some of these places, man, it would be good. I mean, look at the lower mainland has as much snow as many parts of the Okanagan and many parts of the Thompson region, the Kamloops region. So, you know, what does that tell you? A lot of Vancouver Island has more snow right now, or as much as you're seeing up in the Vanderhoof district. That's concerning to me, right? A little better for the 100 Mile House area. Really good out towards the Caribou, mostly in the Rockies. Yeah, not too bad. Although, like we've seen years in the past where these reds would be just stacked up through Revelstoke and Golden, through the Rogers Pass area, through the Selkirks, Columbias, right? And you look at the Rockies themselves, like really, we've seen much bigger snow totals. We've seen this look like this at times in the past, right? So even the snow totals we have aren't exciting to me when it, compared to what they're there. Yeah. There's lots of snow, not as much as normal. In fact, probably less than we really require to make up for what we might see weather-wise in the future. And you're looking at drought monitoring. Now, minor, sure, but out in that same area towards Burns Lake, we still see drought conditions. And even though there's a lot of snow up there in the Peace, we need it to melt and sink into the ground and bring those water levels. Like basically when I was up there fighting at the Donny Fire 2 years ago, there was rivers and creeks that had no water in them at all. So, I mean, there's a lot of work to be done to get the Peace out of its drought situation. But this is what's particularly interesting here is the Chilcotin areas west of Williams Lake, areas down to Kamloops showing drought on the monitoring. Vancouver Island as well, but I think with the precipitation that's coming this weekend, we're going to see that get beat back. In fact, if you give me a second, I'll go and hit we'll go to the 20th and look ahead, because we know there's going to be a bunch of precip coming by then. Well, by the 20th, we see that the drought situation has improved entirely for the coast, right? The coast is now not a concern at all at the 100 centimeter depth level. Rain has come and solved the problem. Fine, but we see it digging down still yet in here. So we're not getting the levels of precipitation still in the Caribou yet that we need to be seeing. And I'm concerned, right? What are we looking at for precip just this next 2 weeks? I mean, we can look at rain and see we're not looking for much rain in the interior BC, but a lot of places are going to see some rain in the coast, especially up and down the coast a lot. May even see some rain up in the Rocky Mountains. Okay, that's rain accumulation. Well, we'll hit the snow accumulation here. New snow next for that same time period. And again, we're not seeing a great deal into that stretch of the central interior. Seeing an uptick into the southern parts of BC. Coastal looking really good. Vancouver Island looking really good. This area of BC here, the what you call the Central Coast and North Coast, they've been getting hammered a lot this winter, and they're looking pretty good up into northern BC along the North Coast mountains, looking pretty good. But large stretch of central interior still not getting the snow. We're going to see warmer weather, yeah, but we're not seeing the snow. We're not seeing the snow yet. There's one more thing I want to look at while we're here, and that's that we are technically in La Nina water territory. Like, we're in the La Nina pattern. You can see it showing up right there along the equator. Cooler water than the water around it. But look at the temperature of that La Nina water, 25 degrees Celsius. We are in bizarre new territory. And even when you go up into very far north, especially out towards Japan, very, very warm waters in the North Pacific, very, very warm waters. I'm hoping that warm water is the fuel that's going to, because warm water creates warm air, and warm air hold, for every degree of warm air, you exponentially increase how much moisture that air can hold. So if that air can come in with warmer flow of Pacific weather and bump into our colder continental air and still deliver a lot more snow and a lot more precip, there's that possibility still coming into that. But I mean, how long can this La Nina hold on? It's not looking good. It's not looking good. And if it fades, how long before a El Nino comes and completely changes the ball game? So anyways, that's what I got to say on that so far this afternoon. Hit like, share, and subscribe. Just a little look ahead to what the fire season might bring here for all of you. I'm going to go and eat my breakfast now. Okay, everybody. Talk to you next time. Bye now.